Beautiful music, beautiful. Welcome, 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 one and all, to our famous, world famous Sunday gathering. We're so grateful you're here. My name is Sandra Champlain. I'm joined with my dear friends Kerry McLeod and Phil Dykes for yet another beautiful Sunday. We are going, or we're well into our fifth year of our Sunday gatherings right now, which started from a dream to do something to inspire when COVID first hit, and now it will outlive all of us. I am 100% certain of that. First, I'd like to just do a shout out to Kerry and thank you for the beautiful music. Just for those of you who don't know, tomorrow is our Memorial Day here in the United States, which is where we honor our fallen military members. I know in many countries, Remembrance Sunday is in November. In November, we celebrate our Veterans Day for our alive folks who have served. There's always a good reason to say thank you. And 240 years ago, the Revolutionary War, our countries were at odds. And talk about love and devotion, that we are here today. And that not only did you pick a wonderful theme of love and devotion, but you've also sprinkled in music to celebrate something so sacred to Americans. And I think for anyone, we have so much gratitude for those people who fought for us, no matter where we live, what day we celebrate it. So thank you, Kerry. So I'll pass it over to Kerry and she can clue you in on what you may or may not expect today. But welcome, everyone.
Thank you very much, Sandra. And today, yes, I thought I'd choose the theme of love and devotion simply because there's not enough of it around. And seeing as, apart from in the room I'm in, and seeing as we have Memorial Day tomorrow, I thought it very fitting that people do all sorts of things for all sorts of reasons, and normally them finding purpose and passion is because they have a love and devotion for what they believe in. So today I'm going to do the opening prayer. Sandra's going to do the reading. I'll take us into the healing. All three of us are going to deliver you some words for the address today in theme of love and devotion. And then two people not so far away will work on behalf of your loved ones in the spirit world. And then Sandra will deliver our words of the week. And then I'll be passing to this handsome man that's full of love and devotion to the side of me for the closing prayer. You gotta have a sense of humour, don't you?
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm back.
So, as we enter into this Sunday gathering, can I ask you, join me, whoever you feel is your God, allow us to enter into that moment in silence. Divine, eternal Spirit, today, on this day where we honour the memory and share a memorial to those who are now in the spirit world, for standing up, for walking forward, and for believing in what they felt their love and devotion was, whether it be family, God, country, or something else. We honour those who have fallen, supporting and believing in what they had as their truth. We wish to share a thought for the families around the world who are grieving for and honoured with the knowledge that their loved one, albeit be in spirit, stood for something and believed in something that they were devoted to. So during this gathering, allow us to share together the memories, bring together the love, and honour that truth that there is life after physical death, whilst bringing in the memory of those we hold dear, whether we hear from them today or not. Allow us to know that our loved ones are at this very moment drawing close to us. Amen.
Thank you so much, Kerry. And now for your reading. Love is defined as the intense feeling of affection, warmth, fondness, and regard towards a person or thing. Devotion is defined as a strong feeling of love or loyalty. It is being loyal to a cause or duty. It is love in action. In most cases, devotion is often related towards God or prayer, but it also means a commitment or dedication to some purpose. When a person is said to be devoted to his work, it means that he or she may do everything in his power to accomplish the task given at hand. Devotion is something one chooses. We appreciate the love and devotion of many, such as our parents working so hard to give us what we have today. Teachers, they don't make much money, but their belief in their students can really make the difference for their entire lives. And of course, there's people in the medical profession and others that work so selflessly, going beyond the call of duty with kindness and compassion. To me, that's devotion. I'd like to share with you today some stories of love and devotion of some police officers. Albuquerque, New Mexico policeman Ryan Holitz made headlines when he and his wife made the decision to adopt the baby of a pregnant, homeless drug addict he had encountered while on duty. Instead of charging her, he spoke with her. She was 8 months pregnant, was honest that she couldn't beat her drug habit, and begged for his help to find someone to adopt her child. And now, the parents of 5, including baby Hope, the Holetzes are very close to mother Crystal Champ, including in the baby's life and getting her the support she needs to keep her well and sober. And for the past over a year, she has been well and sober. Next, as a 20-year veteran of the New York Police Department, Detective Michael Lolo, 46, might already be considered as a hero. But the label was solidified when he decided to give one of his kidneys to a stranger. Michael was inspired when he heard a story about a man who posted on a giant billboard a desperate request for anyone willing to donate their kidney to spare him a life on dialysis. Most people don't resort to such measures, so it was really a long shot. Nevertheless, Michael was moved when he saw the billboard and decided to answer the call and signed up to be evaluated as a donor. Sadly, testing revealed that Michael wasn't a match for the stranger on the billboard, but it did show Michael that a donor could be waiting for his kidney. So an anonymous mother in Maryland was in need, and Michael went through the donation for this woman he had never met. And yes, the man on the billboard eventually did receive a kidney from a 21-year-old kind donor. What you do on this earth matters, said Michael. You can change the world for someone if you have the courage to try. His act of kindness created a snowball effect for many other policemen to do the same. Next, when Lachey Jackson was pulled over by Milwaukee police officer Kevin Zimmerman, who noticed that her 2 young daughters were not in car seats, the single mom expected to leave with a hefty ticket. Instead, Officer Zimmerman purchased and installed 2 car seats for the girls and issued Jackson a simple verbal warning. My girls couldn't stop thanking him, and it made them smile, Jackson said on a Facebook post. We appreciate it a lot. Jackson said she couldn't afford the car seats at the time. With overdue bills and winter coming up, her priority was getting coats and boots for the kids. Zimmerman also went to Walmart. Not only did he buy the 2 car seats, he picked up stickers and toys and children's books for the girls. He also visited Jackson's home and installed the car seats himself. Zimmerman said he was raised to do the right thing, even if no one is looking. Here's one last story. When 5-year-old Charlie Skelbalund called 911, he had what you would call a serious emergency for a little boy. He needed a McDonald's Happy Meal. What he didn't expect was for Officer Scott Valdez of Mesa, Arizona, to come to his rescue. "Hi, is this McDonald's?" Charlie asked the 911 operator who received this emergency call. When asked whether he had an emergency, Charlie just requested a Happy Meal before hanging up. According to his mom, Kim, the family was getting ready for a party, and then the phone rang. Not realizing what Charlie had done, the mom said they were shocked and embarrassed when the 911 dispatcher called back and asked to speak to Charlie's dad. Although Charlie was safe, a police officer still had to come by to conduct a welfare check, as any calls to 911 are very serious. Afraid that he was in trouble, Charlie was shy at first. But when Officer Valdez did indeed bring him his Happy Meal, the two became buddies. And Charlie, a sweet and kind preschooler known for putting others ahead of him, was most excited because he wanted to share his Happy Meal with his sister. Mom Kim was amazed at the officer's actions. He taught Charlie a valuable lesson that day, not only how to use 911 appropriately, but also how to treat others with love and kindness. She said the family hoped Officer Valdez's extra effort will be an example for people to be kinder to one another. So thank you for listening to my reading, and I will pass it over to Kerry for the healing.
Thank you, Sandra. When we talk about love and devotion, it can be spoken about very easily. It slips off the tongue, doesn't it? Love and devotion. But this is a time where you can put that to purpose and make a difference. So if you know somebody who is unwell, physically, mentally, emotionally, matters not, take their names into your mind and allow yourself to imagine them as well and as fit and as healthy as they possibly can be. That way you're sending them lots of what they need and not lots of what they already have. If you're really lucky and you don't have anybody who's in need of healing right now, then send your thoughts out, asking for them to be taken to the best place it can be. Families, communities, countries, those in war-torn countries, or those who are just needing a little bit of extra care and attention, love and devotion. You can make a difference. So I've chosen a song that you might recognize, but it's sung by a beautiful young girl with a beautiful voice. So allow yourself to enjoy this as you send healing out to those that need it. Thank you. That song I picked because you might know it as a song that was written for those that have struggled through war times, whether they be in the frontline services or whether they be in our armed forces. But that young girl sang that song on behalf of her pastor, who passed to spirit and had an incredible impact on her. Now, I wonder if that pastor knew the impact he had on a very young girl. We don't often think about the impact we have on people. We go about our days. If you're like Phil and I and Sandra, then you do the best you can. I was always told bad people don't have bad thoughts. They act on them and do bad things. You're not a bad person for just having the thought. I've always stuck by that and managed to get out of what I would think as being a bad person by catching myself at the end of the thought and saying it doesn't count, it doesn't count. It does. We know that thoughts are energy as well. But we don't know what our actions have in store for other people. I know when I often have a thought that might not be the most pleasant, I then make my action do the opposite. So if I want to shout at somebody for trying to cut me off on the lane on the road, I then will pull back and let them in. It's called equating and cancelling out the bad thoughts. That's my world anyway. But we don't know, just by letting somebody else have what they need in that moment, how that helps them. We don't know the impact we have on people that we know, let alone the impact we have on people that we don't know. Now, probably everybody on here knows somebody in the spirit world that has placed their life on the line and lost and are now in the spirit world, defending, representing, and believing in what they believe is their truth, that right to have freedom. Memorial Day is about honouring those people, but it's also about honouring the people that are left behind, the families of those in spirit that stood up for what they believed in, that stood forward and acted out for what they believed in. Now, whether we agree or disagree on why they are there is not the point. The point is love and devotion is something that is part of every human being. How we express it is individual to us. How we express it is how we are on our daily lives, our thoughts, our deeds, our actions. When we look at those who defend rights, whether that be somebody in the military, whether that be somebody in court, whether that is somebody who advocates on behalf of somebody else, or indeed somebody who speaks on behalf of people in the spirit world who no longer have a voice. They represent a truth. They stand up for what they believe. They represent something that they are absolutely devoted to. Now, some of you might know that somebody not too far away from me was not too well not so long ago. Maybe you're in that unfortunate place, not that you've not got somebody next to you, but the unfortunate place of having somebody very, very close to you become very, very ill. It's amazing how easy love and devotion is when we're near losing. Doesn't that make us more grateful for? We tease and we joke, but we should have gratitude for our partners, for our friends, for our pets, for our families, for those that stand up and stand tall because they believe in giving us a world that is true to our social norms. No matter what social norm people are supporting, if you are assisted by that, have a bit of love and devotion for them.
Thank you, Kerry, Sandra, ladies and gentlemen. Wherever you are in the world right now, whether it's morning, afternoon, or evening, to be able to speak on love and devotion and remember the fallen is an honour. What you know today as Memorial Day started in 1868 on the 30th of May, and it was called Decoration Day. It was only in 1971 was it changed to Memorial Day, where we honour the fallen and the sacrifice that they did for us. And one of those sacrifices that really should pay homage, or where we should pay homage to those fallen soldiers, is the freedoms we have today. Because those freedoms allow us to have love, and devotion as we know it today. They stood for their love, a love of their country, a love of their beliefs, their faiths, what they thought was right. And their devotion was to make sure that future generations, us and the generations to come, have those freedoms, have those courtesies. But it makes you think, doesn't it, how we live busy lives and how we may take those freedoms for granted. And if we just take a second to think of the freedoms we have, such as freedom of speech, freedom to travel all over the world, freedom to go on holidays, freedom to choose which religion we may belong to, choose which friends we have. They're the ones that we may take for granted. And Kerry was right before she talked about the healing, how easy it is for those words, love and devotion, just to fall off the tongue. And we hear it so much that people love this and people love that, and they love, 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 whatever they're going to mention. Sometimes I think we may forget that how such an honor it is to love someone, to love a friend, to spend time with them, to have time where we're not busy, just to relax and sit and just be. Those fallen heroes allowed us to have those luxuries, allowed us to have those times where we could just sit in the garden with the family, to have the technologies we've got today where we're communicating here and now. But we can love many things. As Kerry said, we've got family, we've got partners, we've got pets, friends. And sometimes, as Kerry pointed out, sometimes those pets, families, partners, families become ill. And it's only then we remember how precious they are to us. Or we realise when we've lost somebody how precious they were in those latter moments of loss. But if we can cherish the moments that we share together and realise how important they are, then we start to see the beauty of love, how love doesn't have to be spoken of, doesn't have to get you to tell somebody you love them. The person you're with hopefully feels it, knows it, through your actions every day, how you're devoted to them. Maybe love could be shown in a different way, not just to your partners and friends and families and pets, but a devotion to the work that you do, a devotion to being in service, to whatever it is, like myself, Kerry and Sandra, to the afterlife, to the spirit world, to humanity, by not just proving that we live on beyond the physical death of the body, but actually to remind us that those loved ones that are still living are here to inspire us, to help us put the next step forward, to create an impression for us to keep on going. Love, if you understand this, has no boundary. Love conquers all, as the films say and the books say, because even the mere death of the physical body does not stop love happening, does not stop devotion being shown. As mediums, as we work, and people think that it's all about communication, well, let me let you into a little secret. Come a little bit closer, as I often say in the classes. For the medium to work and give a communication is a privilege and an honor, and we love to do it. But it's far greater than that. There's a devotion to humanity, because we're learning, understanding people's perceptions of life. Every story that we tell of that loved one's life makes us think, makes us understand, allows us to see love from a different angle, devotion from a new perspective, through different cultures, societies, through different words or actions. Love and devotion knows no boundary. Love and devotion is something there that we can all share. It doesn't have to be to someone. It can be a love of nature, a love of wildlife, and love of the natural beauty of this world. And sometimes I think to myself, I wish everybody saw it, because there will be no wars in this world. There will be no arguments in this world. It will be far a kinder place to live and share, where states or countries would not have boundaries or borders. It would just be a natural oneness, just like the spirit world, where that unconditional love is being able to be shared. So I know from those fallen heroes, everything they did, those sacrifices that they did to serve their country and protect their loved ones, and ideas, ideologies, philosophies, and truths that they had in that moment, it's far greater than we will ever know. But what we can do is maybe in some way show our appreciation by living our life to the full. There has been many presidents that have said we can never repay the debt of those fallen heroes. We can't. That sacrifice knows no price or words that can even cover it. To stand and lay down, if you will, oneself for the greater good of humanity is a selfless act. An act a lot of us probably will not get to express or understand fully. But at least we can try by loving, being devoted to life itself, because it's life and that divine law that creates a succession and an understanding that if we have positive thoughts, then we manifest a positive life. And if we can do that with love and devotion, what a world this will be. Thank you for listening.
Thank you so much, Phil, and thank you so much, Kerry. Precious words. Beautiful. Ladies and gentlemen, when I was getting ready for our Sunday gathering and what I was going to do with the reading, the story that first came to my mind was the story of the giving tree. And it's a children's book about a tree and a little boy. And the little boy likes to play on the tree. And as he gets older, he's hungry, and the tree has apples to give. And he gets even older, and he needs a house. And the tree gives his all the wood so that the boy can have a house. And the older the boy gets, the bottom line to the story, all that's left is the stump of the tree. And the little boy is now an old man, and all the tree can offer is the stump, a place for the old man to rest. And I couldn't get through that story without crying my eyes out if I read it to you. So that's why I didn't read it. But it reminded me of not just those fallen soldiers, but just all of those who have made our lives possible, what we have today. And if you had come on early when we were just chatting before our Sunday gathering started, I'm always amazed at everything that we can see and touch. All these modern conveniences that we have somehow came from the basic elements that we have on Earth, from the trees and the plants and the rocks and the minerals and all those things. We're living a miraculous life. And even me looking now, I've got a clock above, I've got some lighting, the computer. I'm looking even at my windows, there's little nail holes in them. And everything we see, there's people behind that gave their love and devotion to their jobs. Many of these people probably long gone. And the history of people that have been involved so that our lives can be what they are today is immense. We'll never get it. You know, hopefully when we get to the spirit world, there's a lot of thank yous we can give just to meet these men and women who did so much. And then even thinking about our loved ones and our parents and then their parents, and people didn't have it easy. You know, I know there's plenty of people that have issues with, say, parents, right? Why didn't they do it some other way? You know, we're all fighting our own battles. We're all doing the very best we can with what we have. So I think my message today is one of compassion, one of forgiveness to people, one of course, love and devotion, but to realize that every one of us is fighting our own battles. My grandmother used to always refer to young adults as the young people, those young people. And I caught myself yesterday saying, those young people. Oh, yep, I've hit grandmother age here. My mom and I were watching television and going into the Memorial Day weekend. There was a lot of young adults. Now, these people were well into their 20s, and they were asking them just how patriotic they were. And these young people that were interviewed, very few of them were appreciative to live in the country that we live in over here in America. And I know so many countries have so much available to us that our predecessors did not have, and many countries today do not have. But these young people, they were complaining. Nothing was good enough, and not having that realization of what's possible. And I found myself saying, oh, those young people, turning into grandmother mode and making them wrong for being who they are. And I realized something. Well, each one of us are fighting our own battles. We each are doing the best we can with what we have. And I can tap myself on the back here. Yeah, I've got love and devotion for wonderful things, right? My family, my friends, the Sunday gathering, the messages, afterlife, all those good things, right? So, yeah, but that doesn't really do it for me. My life, and I want to throw this your way, that your life is to be the best you can be, better than the you were yesterday. And instead of making people wrong, and I'm not saying make yourself wrong, but look in the mirror. All right. Some of those things that irritate you about someone else, perhaps you have a little bit of that inside you as well. Maybe. I want to read to you something that I'm sure you've heard once or twice before. It is from the Bible, 1 Corinthians 13. Love is patient. Love is kind. It does not envy. It does not boast. It is not proud. It does not dishonor others. It is not self-seeking. It is not easily angered. It keeps no record of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. Love never fails. So, back to me. And if you care to take this on yourself, go for it. But if we're all fighting these inner battles called life and doing the best we can, for me, when I reread those words from the Bible, it just reminded me that my job as a human being, and this is for me, is to be the best me I can be, to be grateful for that which I have, of course, to be of service to others, both living and those in the spirit world. But how do I say this? That I think we get the most value out of life is to be loving. And from Corinthians that I just read, if that's the measure, and that sounds pretty darn good to me, of what love is there a gap between where I am now and those words that I just read? And the answer is yes. I'd like to get to the spirit world knowing that I played full out and got my money's worth out of this life, that I loved as much as I could, that I was of service, that I learned, that I grew, that I forgave. And so I believe my request to you with our theme of love and devotion, first, accept that the you sitting in your seat or walking or wherever you are right now has done the very best you can up to this point. I do think that the more we can do here on earth, well, first of all, it feels good, right? To be of service and to be with others and things. But I don't know if we get a few extra brownie points when we get to the afterlife. I don't know. But for me, it's a good game to play, thinking that the better I can be here, the more of a difference I can make. The more integrity I have, the more power I have. And so instead of me looking at those young people of what they could be doing differently, my message is the love and devotion for each of our lives is to be the very best we can be. And just to remember that from the Corinthians about love is patient, love is kind. And if you ever catch yourself making someone wrong, and believe you, me, I do it all the time. It's just a human thing, I think. But it's just to refer back to those words and then just think, where is the soul growth from me? Where is it I can let go? Kerry gave a perfect example in traffic, what she does. You know, that's power. We are all living in a human body and we're dealing with a human mind. So this stuff does not come easy, but it is possible. And I think just to leave you with that, looking for the gratitude, looking for the love and devotion of others, is what I want to leave you with today for the address. So I hope that made a difference. Yeah, it's kind of deep words, but I think what I share with you, I'm also sharing with me because I don't have it all handled. I don't, but I do want to be the best I can be. So thank you for listening to our address. Next, we're going to move on to our demonstration of mediumship. And this is where we have our dear friends, Kerry and Phil, who are beyond mediums today. And I recognize some people are pressing their raise hand button. That's our sign for clapping if you should like to do that. And we appreciate those of you who have done that. Thank you so much. With our demonstration today, we have loved ones in the spirit world who will make their presence known. And I say this often, that you may see Kerry, Phil, and myself being the representatives from our human world. For all of you who are watching our Sunday gathering today or watching the replay, we are the representatives. We've got the voice, all right? So we represent all of you guys. So we'll get usually 3 or 4 people from the spirit world that will represent all of our loved ones. And so that's why we do the demonstration of mediumship, is to show just how close love is from the spirit world, how they're still a very active part of our life. They're cheering us on, they're listening to us, they're dropping little thoughts and memories into our minds. Sometimes it sounds like your own voice, but I tell you, sometimes it's them. But through our mediums today and for our representatives from the spirit world, you'll hear some of these messages. And I always say, if something resonates to you, take it. You know, Kerry, Phil, and I deliver our address and the readings and the prayers to be able to touch your hearts, all of your hearts. And I believe that those in the spirit world who come through, they're also here to touch all of our hearts. So yes, there will be some members of our community that will work with Kerry or Phil and get a reading here today, but please pull these readings towards you, because it's not just those representatives of the spirit world that are with us. It's all of our loved ones. They support us. They love us. Yes, packed around my room and your room right now. You got loved ones cozying up right to you. They don't just come on a Sunday. No, they come and join you in life very, very often. They've got work to do and fun to be had in the spirit world, but they're only a breath away and can be here anytime they wish. So if this is your first time on the Sunday gathering, or you need a little refresher course on how this part goes, here we go. Kerry or Phil, when they work with the spirit world, they will lovingly request with love and devotion for a member of the spirit world to work with them. Those in the spirit world use their memories, their thoughts, their feelings, their senses, and they'll do their very best in a few initial bits of information to describe the spirit person that is with them. And yes, they are still people. alive and well. They're not balls of energy by any means. And so you will hear Kerry or Phil give that few initial bits of information. We want you to be on the edge of your seat and listen in. Could this be your person? Now, your person could be a friend, it could be a family member, it could be somebody distant, but that's still in your circle. And if you can understand all the bits of information that Kerry and Phil describe, for the person that is presenting themselves from the spirit world, we want you to press your raise hand button. Like I say, yeah, that's my person. And your person, again, it will be somebody who's no longer walking this earth. So if it sounds like somebody you know that's alive, don't raise your hand. So just to give you a little extra practice on raising your hand, go ahead and press your raise hand button for me now. Get used to how it works. It will shift from raise hand to lower hand. Why this is important is sometimes there's two or more people that can take all the information. So Kerry or Phil will continue to work. So we're left with one hand raised. All right. So if something doesn't fit, we ask that you put your lower hand down. We often have well over 100 people at our Sunday gathering. So let Kerry and Phil work if we need to more clearly identify who the person is. But it's a wonderful, wonderful opportunity to see the spirit world in action. If you're the person with your hand raised, last man standing, so to speak, I'll press a button on my side. You'll get a pop-up on your screen and it'll ask you to unmute yourself, and you'll see a button right then and there you'll be able to press to unmute yourself. We only need your voice. All right. And we only need you to say yes, no, or I don't know to the information. Whether it's on our Sunday gathering or anytime you see the medium, let the medium do the work. Let them show you that they really are in communion, conversation with loved ones. Let them come with the details about the loved one and the evidence and the message. Far too often people are so excited, and we get it. We get excitement because we get excited too, that we offer the information about our loved one. Please don't do that. It helps everyone to know when you just say yes, no, or I don't know, that Kerry or Phil or whatever medium you're talking to really is in touch with the loved one in the spirit world. Okay? Deal? Deal. All right. We always like to play one piece of music before we go into our demonstration, just to feel good, just to rejoice, really to be grateful for the love of those in the spirit world. So picture them all around you now, joining you cozy, maybe doing a little dance, feeling that love. And I invite you to do that anytime. You don't have to do that on the Sunday. You talk to them, and I promise you they are listening and they are with you. So here is our song, and then we'll be back with our demonstration.
Hello, I love that song, and I just thought the video had a very fitting tribute to our theme today, but it is a quite upbeat song. I know as I was watching that, my mind was drifting away. I knew I had a gentleman with you, and he's a little bit hesitant about coming in. But I know I have a gentleman here. I'll tell you what I know so far. I know he would have died, I feel, by his own hands, but I feel like he would have been found in a garage or a building outside the house. And I also know he would have been in the military. And I do feel like he isn't an elderly man. He is a young, vibrant man. That makes sense to somebody in our audience, Sandra.
Thank you so much, Kerry. All right, friends, if that makes sense to you, go ahead and press your raise hand button, please. And it may not be someone immediately in your family. It may be someone who's in your community, in your circle. Raquel has her hand raised. Raquel, if you could press your unmute button. Thank you very much. Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi, Raquel. Do you
Hi.
understand everything that I've said?
Yes, everything is what you've said, except my brother is not in the military, but everything is exactly what you said, everything else.
Okay. And brother was found in the circumstances that I've shared,
Yes,
Raquel?
he was found in the garage.
Okay. Then I have to say there must be somebody in the spirit world as well that would have been in the military. Would that be your dad, Raquel?
No, but I can't think of anybody at the moment.
Okay. Can I just check? I know I'm not saying I'm not with you, Raquel. I'm just going to get Sandra to check if there is somebody else with their hand up that can understand everything I've said.
Right,
It needs
Carolyn
to be,
has,
yeah, it needs to be everything that I've said.
okay, and Dina, I see her with her hand raised as well. Carolyn, hello.
Can you hear me?
Yes?
Hi, Carolyn.
Okay.
Don't give me anything else, but can you understand everything I've said?
Except the military, my father was military, but
Okay, 2 seconds, Carolyn. Sorry to make it difficult but I so need to get this correct for my lovely gentleman in the spirit world here. Sandra, did you say there was somebody else?
Yes, Dina. Hello, Dina.
Hi,
Hi,
I
Dina.
do
Can you understand everything I've said?
everything, Kerry, but the military part is tweaked to almost in the military.
And it would have been the gentleman that died by his own hands.
Yes,
And this would be a close person for you.
yes.
Okay. And if it wasn't the military and it was almost, I do feel I've got a military funeral or a funeral with a flag.
No,
Don't give me anything, Dina.
okay.
Would one of our people have a gentleman in the spirit world who would have had a military funeral with what our video showed there? Because it was so strongly with this man. The gun salute, the military funeral, the flag over the casket.
Okay, we do. Let me just, Christine and Jane, I see you both have your hands up. Okay. All right, Christine, if we could hear from you. Hello.
Hi there. I
Hi.
don't know this person, but I work very closely with his father, who lost his son 2 years ago. He was in the military,
And did he
and
die by his own hand, Christine?
he did. He,
Okay. And
I
was
didn't
he?
know him, but everything about him just breaks my heart. The whole thing.
Okay. And don't give me, I just want yes or no from you, Christine.
Okay.
Do you know where he was found?
No, I don't know that.
Do you know whether it was at home?
I couldn't tell you that. I don't know the details.
Yeah. Then I know this is recorded, Christine. Would you be able to provide a recording of this to the family?
I could, yes.
Okay. Is there somebody else?
We have Jane
Yes, there is
also.
somebody else you should
Yeah.
check with.
Oh,
Okay.
thanks, Christine.
Of course.
Hi, Jane. Do you
hello.
understand everything I've said?
Everything, yes, but where he's found.
But you understand he died by his own hands
Yes,
and he was in the military
yes,
and you knew him well.
very, yes.
Okay. Can I work here, Sandra? Sorry to everybody else. This is not to say that your people aren't with you, but it's really important for whatever reason that I get to the right person for this man. All will be shown in time. I know, oh, he's quite reticent about coming forward. It feels like, I know this is going to be absolute perception. You knew this man well, though,
Yes, very.
and you would know that he would have been an incredibly proud man.
Yes. Yep.
And I know that there is a feeling within him, and maybe you can verify this for me, that he in some way felt he wasn't up to the mark. Would he have shared that with you?
Yes.
Okay, because I feel like I'm not quite made the grade. I feel like also this lovely gentleman would have reached out a number of times to his family. Jane, I also get the sense that he would have had issues within the military as well.
Issues like,
Difficulties, like he would have found it particularly difficult.
oh, yes, yes.
Okay. I know what he's showing me, but I don't want to go too much into that. I just know things would have been made particularly difficult for him.
Yes.
Okay. I also get the sense here that although he was this proud man, I do know that there's a little bit of a daring personality in there as well.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
I know that there is an incredible, oh, I know there's a word in America that we don't use it here in the UK. He's got a lot of oomph about him.
Yeah, he does.
And if somebody dared him to do something, he would be the one that would do it.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
I also know, Jane, I also know he took the rap for somebody else.
Yeah, probably me a lot. Yeah.
Because I know he steps in and he takes the rap for and protects people who are less able.
Yes. Yeah.
I know from what you've said there that this would be brother for you, Jane.
He is not my brother, no.
Okay, but he does, because he does feel like he comes in there and protects you. But I also know he must have told you where he protected others and stood up for others in his military service.
I don't know on that one.
Okay, if that's not right then, Jane, you know that this gentleman saw overseas service.
Yes. Yeah.
And he would have told you some stories about this overseas service.
He did. Yes.
Then of those stories, he must have told you, because he's showing me him moving women and children out of an area.
Well, I'd have to think on that one. He did tell me stories, though, yes, about different things. So,
Because I know from what he's showing me that he stood up for people who just were in the wrong place and had done nothing wrong. And I know that with this sense of advocacy and this sense of mischievousness, but also this pride, he wants to put that all into a little basket of goodies and hand it to you. I know that there's a great sense of him wanting to protect you, get you to stand up and have your voice, to be proud, and to advocate on behalf of others, but not at your own expense. You would know why he's coming in with that right now for you, Jane.
yes. Yeah.
It's really important that it's the pride part. I know it's Memorial Day tomorrow, but I know the American flag features, and it's such an important part of his life.
Yes, I understand that. Yeah.
And not very many things come above God and country, but family does. And that's where he wants to leave it for you, Jane. Thank you very much. I'm
Thank
sorry
you.
it took so long to find you, but I'm grateful
Yeah.
that I did. Thank you.
No, and he's my cousin, but we were raised closer than like siblings. So
Okay.
he is like a brother. Yes.
Thanks, Jane.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Jane. Thank you, Kerry.
Okay. I do have a gentleman here, and I feel that he would have. I actually feel he would have been in more than one of the military services. I feel like he would have moved between the different services, but I also get this impression that I don't know the name for it, but when you get into part of the forces where you can't tell anything because it's top secret, I feel like he would have had that kind of role. And I also feel it would have been overseas. So it would have been, and it would have been in the Middle East or over that way. I do want to say father, but I'm willing to change that, but not any of the other information. Would somebody in our audience know a gentleman who would have moved through these different military, like the Army, the Air Force, the Navy, but I know he would have served in some kind of secret element within one of those?
Thank you very much, Kerry. All right, friends, who understands this information, go ahead and press your raise hand button, please. No hands are up, Kerry, yet. Oh, Bobby has her hand raised. Hi, Bobby.
Hi, Sandra and
Hello,
Philly.
Bobby. Do you
Hi,
understand everything I've said?
I do, but the secret part was a secret, but everybody thought it was happening. He never told us, but he
Okay.
was in all those places, and
Okay. And would this have been your dad, Bobby?
no, it would have been my husband.
Okay.
I'm
Then
sorry, that's the one part. I'm sorry.
that's okay. I did say I was willing to change the relationship. So, Bobby, as he moved through those different aspects and the different areas, he must have not been able to share parts of what he did then.
Absolutely.
And you knew he worked over towards the Middle East in the
Yeah.
Middle Eastern countries. And I know that he would have spent quite large lumps of time there.
Yes.
He must have spoken another language as well.
Uh, Not that language, but another language, yes.
But he spoke another language because I
Yes.
know I can hear him speaking a language, but it is not English. I know too with him that he had such a care and attention for you because I feel like he would have always found a way to reach you, to call you, to get in touch with you.
At one time, yes.
Okay. I know that as he gives me this impression, you know, in the olden days, before we had satellite, you had these large phones and the big aerials. He would have told you about him being able to call you on one of those large phones from the Middle East.
I'm not sure on that one.
Then if that's not the case, then there must be a photograph of him with the radio and the box and the...
Well,
Bobby,
that was when, well, may I say it? I don't want to give you too much
that's
information.
okay, but do you understand what I'm meaning?
Well, that was when he was in another place that was not the Middle East.
Okay, my mistake there, because I know I can see the large telephone that's
Yes.
heavy and this big unit that makes it work. But I feel like
Yeah.
he would have done anything to get in touch with you. I also know that when he brought his gear back, he was very fastidious about how it was washed, how it was ironed, how it was taken care of.
I understand what you're saying.
I also know that he trusted you to be able to look after it and do it perfectly as well.
Yes.
Because I feel like it was a joint effort.
Yeah.
I get the sense, Bobby, that he is absolutely, I know the theme is love and devotion, but he was at the prime of his time devoted to you completely. Or are you going to say no?
At a certain time, yes.
Because I feel an overwhelming sense of wanting to reach out and hug you, to say I'm sorry, to say please forgive me, to say I'm here. And there must be a day very soon that is either his birthday or your anniversary.
Yes, his birthday's coming.
Okay. I know there's an incredible, sincere gratitude to you, but I also know that the reason he has come instead of anybody else, firstly, we had a question at the beginning about having that cathartic experience that allows us to grow and to move on. I feel that this contact with you is in some way his journey, not to do with you, because I know your journey is completely separate, but his journey is to be able to reach out and say, I'm sorry. But it's also about how if he were to say that he's there giving you a firm backing, that there is, he could use the odd bad word, couldn't he?
Yes.
Can you stand up for your rights and be heard? I have reworded it. I'm going to leave your husband's love and apology and strength and determination with you, Bobby. For whatever's happening with you right now, there's the sense of him. He's got your back.
Thank you. Thank you
Thanks,
so much.
Bobby. Thank you. Take
God
care.
bless.
Thank you, Bobby. Thank you, Kerry.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is a pleasure to be here. And just to prove to me that you are listening, I'm going to do a bit of a shout out. So I'd like you to raise your hands in appreciation to the wonderful Miss Sandra Champlain, because it's only here that we get supported like this and get looked after. Because when we do a lot of Zoom calls and Zoom things, the interaction's not always the greatest, but I know Sandra has a wonderful platform and looks after us. So if you could raise your hands, it would be really appreciated.
Some people can't find their raised hands yet.
Well, they will do in a second.
You're so sweet. I have love and devotion for you and the spirit world and everybody with us.
Good,
So it's
good.
easy for me. Thank you for that,
Well,
Phil.
it's really appreciated. We do so many of these that this one really stands out. It always has done for 5 years. Well done, Kerry. Good contact. As I become aware of the spirit world, I've got a lady saying, just get on with it with his son. So I'm trying not to laugh at the same time. So as I become aware of the spirit world, I know I have a mother, and I get mother, and I feel she was, again, in the military. And I feel she's, I don't know my ranks or anything, but I feel she's either a corporal. I know she seems to be in charge and has that rank. But I know she's very outspoken as well. And I can't think who the name of that actress is, but I know here she was known because one of her personality and her character, but I also know she was known for her looks and her build. So I know I don't want to get on the wrong side of her as well. So I know I've got mum. I could be wrong with the relationship, but I know she seems to be within the army, or should I say, I think it's the army, and I know she has that rank like a corporal.
Thank you very much, Phil. All right, friends, who understands this information? Go ahead and press your raise hand button, please. All right, we have Susan and Christina, both with their hands raised.
Okay, good. But I know here, and please forgive me, I love you dearly, okay? But I know Mum keeps on saying to me that she was a bit of a looker. So I know here she was like either a little bit of
He's
a...
mine.
Exactly, I'm stamped. I've got her name on my finger. It feels here where either people would comment on her saying she either looks like an actress or she has, or there's just something about that. So I know one of the two ladies would understand that.
All right, Susan and Christina, your hands are both still up, so that you have good-looking ladies in the spirit world.
Okay, but again, it just feels here with her. And I want to say with her that even though Mum's in the army and she's trained and all that, but I know she's either a physical education officer. I know she does something like this in there as well.
All right, one hand went down. Let's bring in Christina. Susan, you keep listening. Hi, Christina. Christina, if you could press your unmute button. Hi, Christina.
Hi, Sandra.
Hi.
Hello, Christina. Do you understand everything I've said?
Can you just repeat the last part there,
Would you
Phil,
understand
please?
where your mum, because I feel it's mum, she would have had an involvement in physical education as well?
No, I think I meant to press the to lower my hand with
Okay,
that
that's
one.
fine. That's
Sorry
fine.
about that.
That's absolutely fine. Stay with me, Christine, and we had somebody else because we're going to work through this. But would you understand everything else I've said?
Yes.
That's fine. And she did look like some kind of actress on the people referred to that.
She had a unique look, yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
because I know there's something different about her. But if I said to you that your mother was quite a force to be reckoned with, nobody would answer back or argue back.
Yes.
Because I also feel with her, she's got that, not just the personality, she's got the look of a soldier and everything else. But I know there's almost, there's a sense of pride with her as well.
Yeah, sort of.
Okay, because I know there's something doesn't feel right here. I know there's somebody else put their hand up. Can we just stay there for a second, Christina? Can we just bring this other person in?
All right. To our friend, it says Wood on the screen. Just checking to make sure. You can press your unmute button, please. Hello.
Hello. Do you understand? And it just says Wood on the screen, so please forgive me. So would you understand everything I've said? Hello?
We cannot hear your voice.
Hello, Wood? Ladies and gentlemen, we do have these technical problems now and again. I think somebody's either gone shy or...
They could use the chat box to put yes or no.
They could. Hello, Wood, are you still with us? No, she doesn't seem to be there. Okay, so we're just going to carry on for a second. So I'm going to go back to Christina. So you understand everything I've said, except that thing about the physical education. But I know she was a bit of a strong-minded lady, and I know there seems to be a sense of pride with her as well. But I also feel with your mum, she wasn't one for, how can I put this, holding back. She could be opinionated as well.
Yes.
Okay, good, because I just get that impression. But I also feel here that she would play on that. There seems to be a sense of her where she could, in a way, in a very good way, intimidate people to speak.
I don't know about that. No.
You don't know about that. I've got to be honest.
Our friend, sorry to interrupt, who with the name Wood wrote in the chat box that they are there. So I'm not sure if he or she could accept all the information or not. But there's a problem with the technology that we're not able to hear their voice.
It's a real shame because I know what I've got, but just doesn't feel right with Christina. Got to be honest, I've got to get to that right person. So I'm going to go back through it just in case somebody missed a little bit of it. So I know I have mother. I know she was in the military. I do feel it was the army. I do feel she had a rank. I also know that there's something along the lines of physical education that she would have taught in the army. And I'm not sure if that's actually fighting or martial art or self-defense, because I get that feeling here as well. But I know it's important. But I know she's got this look of like an actress, or just this unique look that makes her stand out that little bit as well. Because she does remind me of somebody off a TV program I've seen, but I can't think of the name.
Thank you very much, Phil. Can someone understand this? I know, Susan, you had your hand up earlier. Could you take this information? If yes, put your hand back up.
Because even if some of it's a little bit wrong, I need to work through it just to get that understanding as well. And I do feel I'm in the United States with this. I don't feel I'm in the UK.
Thank you, Phil.
Because the uniform that I'm seeing.
Mm-hmm. No hands up, unfortunately.
Then the only thing that I can change on this is the relationship of mother. So everything else has got to stand, but I'll take the mother out. But I know there's a unique aspect to the way she looks. It's almost like I want to. There's a trying to think what her name is. I'm trying to. I wish I could remember the actress's name. It's almost like I want to use the name Bridget. Either the name Bridget would make sense to the person I want to talk to as well.
Thank you, Phil. All right, friends, who's on the fence thinking maybe this is me, maybe it isn't? Go ahead and raise your hand. It's important to get to the right person.
Absolutely. And I know I can see it as clear as day, so I know something's not right. Either somebody's not putting their hand up or somebody's on screen and not listening.
So a lady.
Yes, lady. Yes, absolutely. I know people are putting Eileen Brennan and Goldie Hawn, but I know it's not those actresses. I know those actresses. I'm not sure it's either the name. I'm sure the lady was called either Bridget Nielsen or something very similar to that.
Bridget Bardot?
No, not that one.
No, it's somebody else. That was
Yes,
Mary Alice.
It is. Somebody's put Lorette Swit. No, I don't know who know that is. I'm really sorry. But I know here, it's not Bridget Bardot. No, it's not. I can't drop this. I can't change this. I'll go a little bit further with it because I know what I've got. And usually what happens, ladies and gents, is we get that little message afterwards. I can understand everything.
I was too shy.
Exactly. So I know I have a lady. I did feel it's mum. It's not mum, it's mother-in-law, because I feel it's that relationship or very close to that. I know she was in the army as well, and I know, or in the services, I know that there's an aspect of her of having rank, seeing over things. In fact, I know where that rank's concerned. I know she would have been either to do with either logistics or planning of maneuvers and things like this, because I know she's respected and I know that she's part of that. How can I put this? It's almost like if I knew there was going to be a parade, I knew she would be towards the front. So I'm going to open this up a little bit because the way I'm feeling here is very much very strong that she's high ranking. I know that. So somebody's not speaking. It's a shame. I'm going to have to let go of it. Nobody takes it and understands it, or not coming forward with it. If I've got the
Christina's got her hand back up. Hi, Christina, if you could press your unmute button. Hi, Christina.
I know we're not supposed to give too many details, but I feel like a lot of this relates to me, and I would say it's my grandmother, and she was in the military.
Right.
And a lot of the other details you've given may not have been her position at that time in her life, but as a person in general in her life.
because I know I can't change what I've got, and everyone that knows me, even if nobody takes it, I will not bend, I will not drop it. I know what I've got is correct. So if I've got the relationship wrong, you're saying
My grandmother raised me with my mother, so she
that's
was
fine.
like my mother.
That's why I kept on being insistent. It's almost like I want to talk about mum, and I couldn't come away from that. But I know here she's a very strong-minded lady, and I know she wants to get her point across as well. But I know there's this physicality, there's just this essence about her that wants to reach out as well. And I know here you said grandmother, but she was like a mother. I'm insistent. I want to stay and call her mother to you, because I know there's that impact. But I know, like I said, she's strong-minded, and I know there's aspects here. Would I be right in saying she didn't talk a lot, Christina, about her service or certain details?
Yes.
Because I know here what I've got is that I'm adamantly correct with it, but I know all of a sudden there's a reluctance to come forward, which I understand is keeping things quiet. But I know there's an element side of her that's almost where I want to not acknowledge the military service. I know she was a very proud lady, and I know she was quite sentimental underneath as well.
Yes.
And I also believe she treated you like a grown-up, almost like I want to treat you older than what you are.
Yes. Yeah.
Because again, there's that sense. But I also know as well, you should still have some of her photographs.
Yeah.
And again, when I talk about these photographs, I know there's some old black and white photographs that you should have of hers.
Yes.
Okay, because I know she keeps on bringing this in. And there also should be photographs or a photograph of her either in uniform that I talk about.
I'm not sure about that one.
Because I know here, would I be right in saying some of these photographs are old and been put away and not on display?
Yeah.
Because I know here we go through them as well. I know you'll find that it's just the way she is. But I also get the sense with her, she's that strong character. And I know she was quite persistent in life as well. So I know she didn't have the easiest of life after the army.
Yes.
Because I know here she's, but I also know, because you won't open it up, I know she's an extremely proud lady that wouldn't always accept help.
Sure.
Would I also be right in saying she could be a tough taskmaster with you as well? Almost where she wouldn't let you get away without doing chores or things.
Not with me personally, but maybe with my mother.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's fine, because I know here I can't get away with that, okay?
Yeah.
But I know the reasons why she's here is to support you at the moment and really take you back down memory lane, because you could do with a bit of her support at the moment. Understand,
Yeah.
Christine? Okay,
Yeah.
and I know that's why she's coming forward. But I also know as well, she stood up for what she believed in, and I know this is why she's coming forward, for you to stand up in what you believe. She's bringing that strength with you. So I'm going to say thank you for allowing me to do that contact. Thank you for making me work so hard, because I've got to
Thank
get the right
you.
person. It's an absolute pleasure. But I will say this. She is a bit of a looker, and I know here there should be photographs in her younger days that you have.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, and I know here she's got that presence about her, that it's almost where I want to physically say she's a bit of a handful. So I know she means business, and she's here to help you. So I'm going to leave that with you and say thank you very much, Christina.
Thank you, Phil. Thank you.
You're absolutely welcome. That's fine. Okay. Okay, so as I become aware of the spirit world once more, that's fine. Oh my God, I've got somebody else from the services. I know here I've got a gentleman, I do believe it's father, and I do believe he was either in, and please, you're gonna have to help me again. It feels where I want to talk about where he was in the section that where there was vehicles. I'm not sure if it's infantry or on the mechanical side, because I know there's engineering, mechanics as well in the army. And I know here he knows if it's not known, he doesn't know about it, because he knows everything about engines, if I put that the correct way. So I know I have father. I know he was in the army. I know he knows everything about engines. And I believe he could fix absolutely anything when it comes to engines. And I also know he has a knack about him where he could take bits of this and bits of that and put it together to make it work as well. And I know there should be memories of him in his garage having bits of this and bits of that, and he could put it in engines and make all kinds of things like lawnmowers work and all kinds. So I know he was a bit of a tinkerer.
Thank you very much. Who understands this information? All right, we have our friend Emily with her hand raised. Emily, if you could press your unmute button, please.
Hi, Phil.
Hello, Emily. Do you understand everything I've said?
I do, yes.
Good. And would you understand with your dad, he's a bit of a petrol head?
Yes.
And it's almost where I can take a bit out of a car and I can put it onto a motorbike, and take a motorbike and put it into a car. He just knows everything about engines.
Yes.
And if I said that we lived at one time, there was bits of all kinds of engines and things lying around in the yard and things.
Not in the yard.
Not in the yard, but in the garage.
Yes.
That's fine. And it feels like there was boxes of bits of engines and all kinds of things in there.
Yes.
Because I feel with your dad, he never threw anything away. But I also feel that he would always fix and service his own vehicles.
Yes.
And the families as well.
Yes.
And the neighbours as well.
Sometimes.
Because again, it just feels, and I feel your dad's, he can't help himself. If there's an engine or there's somebody in distress, he would be there. He would be trying to help.
Yes, it was a passion for sure.
I know it's an absolute passion. He loves it and he's devoted to it as well. And I want to say your dad was always happy, and you would have happy memories with your dad when he was fixing cars and things.
Yes, I can take that. Yes.
And if I said that he showed you or tried to show you what he was doing or get you to get interested, would you understand that?
Not with the details, but
It's
with
almost
regards
like
to cars, yes.
That's fine, because I know here he's trying to bring that passion in and that devotion in here. But I also feel that your dad you would have, let me just look at this for a second. It's how to word this correctly. It's almost what I want to say, that he would, it's almost like there's only one way to say it. I want to say that he was happy when he was tinkering.
Oh, 100% his most favorite thing.
And again, I'm not bothered what I look like. I'm just happy as a pig in you know what, because I'm under that car bonnet or I'm stuck in an engine.
Yes.
And if I said he was far happier doing that than going out to a social occasion, would you understand?
Absolutely.
Because I know here it's almost like I want to either make excuses or not go to social events. I'd rather be at home. And I know that's his mindset, because if I said he also could be stuck in his ways as well.
Yes, I can take that. Yes.
But what I want to say is that, forgive me, he's going still on about engines. He also could drive absolutely anything, or he would always have a go at it.
Oh yeah, loved cars.
Because, and again, it's almost, and there should also be memories where he would push cars to their limits as well. Now, I'm not talking about breaking the law or speeding or anything, but he knew how to get the best out of cars.
Yes, especially in his younger years.
That's fine, okay, because I'm trying to be polite here. And there should be photographs again of Dad in those younger years in the cars as well.
Yes.
And I know there should be a photograph of him hanging out the driver's side window with a photograph being taken as he's about to drive when he was younger. And
I'm sure there is.
Because I know here it captures the essence of who he is as well. But I want to say this, he could be quite comical though as well.
Oh yes, humor was a big part.
Because even though I'm talking, there's so many jokes I could put in here, but I know that's his way, that I could change or manipulate in a good way, but it's humorous. people, what they said, and all kinds of things. And I also believe there should have been times where we went out as a family and Dad was driving.
All the time. Yep.
And it feels like we went for days out.
Yes.
Now, forgive me, I'm being polite here. If I said some days were extremely hot and he had a habit of winding the window up and there was a bit of gas, would you understand?
I don't remember that specifically,
Because
but I wouldn't be
there's-
surprised.
Because I know there's a sense of humor, a sense of fun, and it's just I want to say,
It's the sort of thing you would do.
it's the sort of thing I would do, yeah, exactly. So that all my daughter would do, just in case she's watching. But I know here, it's just that sense of fun, that sense of it's almost like I want to make fun out of everything.
Yeah.
That's fine. But I know he's here because I know he's a very passionate and loving father as well, and he was very protective of you, Emily.
Yes.
And I also know he has fond memories when you were very young, where he would just, when you saw each other coming back from school, he would just scoop you up off your feet and hug you.
Oh.
And I also know, bear with me, because I also know as well when he did, you would also remember the scent of oil and cars and things on him.
Oh, yes, definitely.
Because I know here, it's almost like I want to bring all those old scents around you so you can know that it's Dad, because it just feels Dad's around you at the moment, not just to bring you upliftment, but he's trying to inspire the mind so life becomes more fun and more enjoyable for you as well. And I just want to look at something here. Would it be right, Emily, that either you or somebody very close to you has been talking about purchasing a new car?
Oh my God, yes.
Because I know this is why Dad's come forward, because he wants his pet. And it's almost where I want to say with your dad, oh, I can't say it how he's just said it. I want to stick to American cars. So it's almost like I want to stick with American cars.
That makes sense. Yes.
Okay. Because it feels, we know how they're made. It feels, he doesn't like foreign cars. That's the only way I can say it, because he knows what he's doing with the American cars. Because if I'm right with this, your dad used to like the old-fashioned muscle cars as well, the superchargers and everything.
Oh, 100%.
Good, because I know he's not telling you to get one of them, so don't get that out of your mind. But I know he wants the old-fashioned cars, the American cars, the stronger and better built. That's his words, not mine, ladies and gentlemen. But I know here it's just the way. So I'm going to leave his love with you, Emily, and say thank you very much for allowing me to do that. And it's been a pleasure to be working again.
Thank you so much, Phil. It's so
You're
great
welcome.
to see you back.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Emily. Take care.
All right.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's an absolute pleasure. I'm going to hand you back over to the wonderful Sandra Champlain.
Oh, thank you so much, Phil. And thank you so much, Kerry. And thank you everyone for listening in. It just shows how close our loved ones really are. And they're still part of our lives. They most definitely are. I know that this time of year, in fact, any time of year, doesn't have to be now, can bring some grief. I think grief is one of those things where you just feel a little bit and it can ignite all the past grief. And I know we've got members of our community who are newly bereaved. Please know your loved ones are with you. We support you. We're here for you 100%. Please just reach out if you need us. Also, on Thursday, our friends Kath and Mitch Shirley, they're both advanced grief recovery specialists. They offer what's called a free grief cafe. It's just 90 minutes. You can learn about grief, you can be comforted, and it's a private place to share. It will not be recorded for your privacy. Also, if you don't already have a copy of my book, We Don't Die, Chapter 10 is all about grief. So if you'd like a copy of that, you probably already have it in your library at wedon'tdie.com. Check there first, but if you don't, you can just sign up on the main page at wedon'tdie.com. Just put in your name and your email address. It says you get the first few chapters, you get the whole thing. Like I said, Chapter 10 is about how to survive grief. Just some upcoming things at wedon'tdie.com, which is very exciting. First of all, our new classes with Kerry and Phil are underway. The first class, if you want to join our medium classes, you'll get the recording this week for our Wednesday and Thursday classes. You go into practice sessions, so all very exciting. We have the demonstrating medium, a medium level 1, and medium level 2. Also, this week on Tuesday, our friend Scott Milligan offers 2 sitting in the power hours. Also, we have a class with him on Mondays and Tuesdays. Friday, he'll be back with a demonstration of trance mediumship and sitting for healing. Lots of good things. Now, what's coming up with Kerry and Phil? Lots of really great classes. You can join them live if you like. They will be in Blackpool, England, coming up this week. Also, they'll be heading to Ontario, Canada for a couple of great classes in July. You can catch a reading with them if you'd like, or a demonstration in Santa Fe, New Mexico. And in October, they will be in the tri-state area in New York, New Jersey, Connecticut. It'll be in New Jersey. But if you want to take a course with them, there's nothing quite like it. Even if you've never explored this before, there's really nothing like being right there in person if you can't be. So mymediumship.com is their home base, and you can also find that through my page, which is wedon'tdie.com. I've got some new podcast episodes out, and I think that's all. Yeah. Thank you to our friends that have donated also. I know every so often we get some donations from you folks, and we appreciate it so much to keep our Sunday gathering going. And if you'd like to do that or see past replays of Sunday gatherings, just go to the Sunday Gathering page at wedon'tdie.com. The last thought I want to leave you with today is, I know in my address it was all what we haven't done, but let's talk about what we have done. Next time you pass a mirror, look in the eyes of that person looking back, and for all the selfless love and devotion that you have given, I want you to thank yourself for. Really thank yourself. I've spoken with so many people that have had near-death experiences, and one common thing they say, when you do that old life review, nobody's judging you, nobody's saying good or bad. You get to experience things from other people's perspective, just looking at how your soul grew while you were visiting here on planet Earth. But what you get is you get to see the ripple effect of your actions and how they made a difference. So those moments of kindness, those moments of love, those moments of devotion, those times when nobody was looking and you still did the right thing, you get to see the ripple effect of that. So will you do me that favor and give the person some love in the mirror? Because life ain't easy, is it? But all to say, your soul is growing, and just keep your vision on making a difference for others, and you can never go wrong. So with that, I'd like to turn it over to Phil for our closing prayer.
Thank you, Sandra, for those wonderful, inspiring words. And thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for inspiring myself, Sandra, and Kerry to be here in service every week. It really touches our hearts. But it's now that time of this service to join together once more in what we call prayer, to think about our loved ones and to send those thoughts to those loved ones and humanity itself. So if you could join me, please. Great infinite Spirit, Father God, Mother Earth, we ask for that love, we ask for that upliftment within this life, as we all come together as one in a unity of love and devotion to life itself and to this universal force, the creative force of life, to inspire others, to uplift, but also to help people through those moments of grief, to let us know that our loved ones still live on. It is that light we ask for to shine brightly within our hearts and minds, to take us forward within this life, to live that true life, to inspire others, and to help heal wherever we go, inspiring those people to uplift and move forward within kindness, that kindness that sparks generosity, but most of all to mankind and humanity, to know that we're all brothers and sisters living in this one place, and that kindness and upliftment can make a difference. So Father, Mother, we ask for that divine spark within each all of us to keep us safe until next time we meet. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you so much, Phil, and thank you, Kerry. Thank you, you and our community. Thank you to our loved ones in the spirit world. Our last song is Whitney Houston singing our anthem here in the United States, the Star Spangled Banner. Wherever in the world you are, maybe we just take this time to say thank you. Thank you for the love and devotion. Here we go. Thanks again, everybody. We love you. We thank you. Give yourself some love, Kerry and Phil. Mwah. All right, guys. See you next Sunday, if not before. Bye.